for any young player aspiring to get better, that's something that they really need to kind of take to heart. Like, there's nothing that's too far out of reach in terms of like what you have to do to get to that level. Like, you have to be able to go all in and dedicate 100% of your time. And then the other thing is, with you traveling all over the place and you meet some of these people, I mean, I would assume some of these people are still very good friends with you to this day. Like, you end up, people think that gaming is this antisocial thing, but funnily enough, like when you spend 8 to 12 hours a day like gaming against one person, you almost know how they think in this really strange way, right? Like, you actually understand their psychology at a level that a lot of people who just kind of hang out with them for an hour, watch a football game or something, they don't get that same level of connection.
Sure.
Where you literally understand how this other person's mind works. You're like, I know if he gets tilted easily, I know if he's really, really stable, and I know, what bugs him, what doesn't bug him. I know kind of how he prioritizes aggression versus defense, like being safe, or is he like cold and calculated, or will he take that 60-40 play every time? If it's 60 and his chance, will he take the 51-49 play, right?
Yeah.
So you can kind of learn a lot about somebody in this really crazy way through gaming.
I knew how players were playing, like offensively, defensively, strategic, and so forth. So I actually flew in guys to train me for the World Championship in New York City, the $1 Million World Tour that I won. So that tournament, I had like an offensive guy come in, I had a defensive guy come in, I had a strategic guy come in. I actually
You're like an MMA fighter.
I had a badass guy come in who was really talented, and I almost scared to bring him in because he might learn too much from me. But he did a solid me for like back in 2000, so I owed him. And so I was like, dude, if you want to come and train with me, 100% you can come and train with me. Like, but he was like a badass. Like, and then the fifth guy was this guy from Finland. It was just a completely crazy guy. It was so bringing in these different type of people to play with was a lot of fun back then.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you almost had like a UFC fighter's mentality where you're like, okay, I need like a boxer who like might emulate this guy's style, or a kickboxer, and like you had all these guys come in so you could like take little pieces of all these games, and then that way it makes a lot of sense. That way when you were in a tournament, maybe within the first frag or two, you could realize this is how this guy plays. I know I played a guy who's really good at that style. I know what this guy's going to do. I know what his limitations are. I know the pathing he's going to take.
Well, so the funny thing is actually what I found out was, I mean, it's kind of common sense, but like a strategic player dies near the power-ups. Yeah. This is where he dies at. Like, that's just like he can't help himself. He has to get the mega health. He has to get the power-up, right?
Right.
And so, there's a fight for it, of course. But the thing is, if that's going to be his weak spot, you can set up shop before he sets up shop. And then now you have the advantage over him if he does come in. If you get one good shot off, he's screwed, Yeah. So, it was definitely wild. But then obviously playing against an offensive player can die anywhere. I mean, just that's just in their nature.
Yeah, they're just hunting you, right?
And then and the kind of same thing with the crazy guy. But what was really amazing, that the crazy guy would kill me sometimes in the game, and I was like, wow, like that's impressive. Like, the guy is playing so bad and so crazy that he killed me. And so it was amazing. It was an amazing thing to experience, though, and I really enjoyed playing him the most, almost because I could never predict him. He was completely unpredictable to some degree, but he had many holes in his game. He was like a top 24 player in the world, and that's kind of where he stayed, just because he's just too, like, he's either like all or nothing kind of thing. But even his all was never beating me. But